Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Namaste, assalamu alaikum. Good evening, good night, or good morning to all of you. And we are so pleased to have people in this meeting from all parts of the world in different time zones. I am Shakira Mohammed in Trinidad and Tobago, a teacher for the past 17 years. And ladies and gentlemen, this is the 272nd edition of our ICC Thought Leaders Forum. And we wish to sincerely thank all of you who have contributed in whatever way to the success of this ongoing Pan-Indo-Caribbean and Pan-Indian Diaspora Global Project. For 271 unbroken continuous weeks, we have been here every single Sunday, and in the past 5 years and 3 months, we have featured 1,102 presenters from all parts of the world speaking on 271 topics. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is a weekly forum being hosted by the Indo-Caribbean Cultural Center, legally registered research and publishing company operating since 2010. And in order to continue this weekly program and to make it bigger and better, we are kindly asking for suggestions and volunteers. If you give your donation, your name will be placed on our poster and all promotional materials, and you can contact Dr. Kumar Mahabir for details. So I'll introduce our moderator today, who is Shalama Mohammed, the co-director of this ICC Zoom platform, who is a business teacher and researcher from Trinidad and Tobago. She obtained her master's degree in business psychology from Franklin University in the USA. So Shalama, who is now in South Africa participating in the tour, welcome.
Thank you so much, Shakir. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Namaste. And a warm welcome to all of you here with us. Please forgive me if I'm looking at you sometimes and sometimes looking away. We're trying to use separate computers from here in South Africa. In order to avoid trolls, our IT manager would have muted everyone. So speakers, please do not admit anyone, do not unmute anyone, and don't allow anyone to share your screen unless already authorized to do so. Thank you so much for your cooperation. Our program today is about the Indo-Caribbean Cultural Center International Tour, South Africa. This is a lovely, lovely country, and we've met fabulous people here, and we're going to introduce. Why are we doing this? It's all in commemoration of the 165th anniversary of the arrival of Indian indentured laborers to the colony of Natal. And so the Indentured Laborers Foundation, the sixth industrial revolution. It's our pleasure to announce that ICC has partly organized with some wonderful people here. The goal of this nonprofit tour is to unite participants of our weekly Zoom programs in person at least once a year to create lasting connections and unforgettable experiences. So this began in 2022 in Trinidad and Tobago when we hosted our first Indian diaspora tour. We welcomed over 60 individuals from the Indian diaspora to Trinidad and Tobago at that time for the inaugural tour. Vibrant gathering, a party. Since journey to Suriname, it went to Guyana, where the first wave of Indian indentured Indians made an indelible mark. Had significant experiences. But here in South Africa, because of the uniqueness that South African Indians have had, their story is very, very different. We participated in an 8-day tour of the country and are still doing that because only 6 days have passed. We've been discovering the sights, the sounds, the flavors of this very vibrant multi-ethnic nation. And now, without further ado, it is my pleasure to introduce to you some persons who are on the tour and who've helped to organize the tour. And the first person I want to introduce you to is as part of the show, and he is indeed one of the organizers. So for a minute, and then I'm going to bring on Ash. Shakir, can you please bring his PowerPoint?
Okay.
Yes.
On
The screen is frozen.
that person is probably having internet problems because we're not hearing them. I was very keen to meet people from the Windies. Look, we in South Africa do meet people from all around the world. From Australia, I've met quite a few. India, yep, quite a few as well. And from the USA and UK, some from Mauritius, a couple from Fiji. But I had never come across anybody from the West Indies, and I was really keen to meet these people. So when Kogi mentioned there's going to be a conference and a tour, and she asked whether I would be willing to get involved to a large degree, and I said yes. Besides, I can't say no to Kogi. If you know Kogi, very hard to say no to her. But in any case, yeah, go smile. It was a brilliant, fantastic experience for me for a variety of reasons. I am one for accents, and we hear the West Indian accent on TV. We listen to Sunil Ryan and Curtly Ambrose and Will Richards and others. So I was really wondering what would they sound like in the flesh when I do get to meet with them. Sometimes when Sunil Narayan speaks on TV, difficult to work out what he's saying. So I thought, okay, this would be interesting when I actually get to meet with them. And if I can talk about or win these people first, then I'll get to the others. Right, starting with Doc Mabir. He wasn't too difficult to get around after a while. I just found that his accent was pretty, I'm not saying it in a derogatory way, Doc, but pretty flat. Okay, fine. We could get you. After a couple of hours, we could sort you out. Then I'll talk about Shalima because I engaged with these two people more than anybody else, and hers was rather quaint. Very nice. I told her this yesterday, and she had a bit of a laugh. She kind of sings when she speaks. That I found very nice and very sweet. And she's a very sweet girl too. Anything. And then I have to talk about one other lady, and I will not say her name, but we had a couple of humorous experiences with her, and I'll talk about this one in particular. At the conference, we had this station which were serving refreshments and thing. So during the breaks or whenever somebody wanted a cup of tea, a cup of coffee, you could go to the station and help yourself with something there. And on this one day, this lady walked in and there was an assistant there asking, well, what do you want? So she goes up to her and says, and I'll try to say it the way she said it, do you have any decaf? And the lady who's Zulu speaking looks at her and says, what? Do you have any decaf? I wanted to not laugh. So I held my breath. I went forward. I said, Sisi, Zulu speaking lady, right? She wants a cup of decaffeinated coffee. All right. And that was to me quite hilarious. I will not mention that name just in case it doesn't go down very well. But we got the West Indian accents and really we love it to bits. I have to tell you this, wherever we had gone out to whichever venue, and when we got our two people in the main, that's Doc and Sharima talking, you could just see everyone just looking at them. And I've heard this comment more than one time. Amazing, interesting, different, lovely, beautiful. And, they were quite intrigued because we don't come across West Indies people in this part of our land. And they were quite a novelty. I have to use that term. You guys were quite a novelty. We're used to the UK accents. We've got a couple of different types there. We're used to North American, where they're Canadian, but more American and so on. And we're used to the people from India, whether they're North or South. We get all you guys. So, yeah, thank you for bringing your accent to us. All right. And then if I have to talk about a few other people who we've met, and I have been mightily, mightily impressed with the young guys. I have to mention the name, Sahil. I can see him sitting there. Then there is Feroz and Pawan. You guys, hats off to you. It's not often in this country that do we find people of your age showing interest in a project like this or a concept like this, the Girmetia concept or the idea. And that was to me quite brilliant because you showed a lot of passion, a lot of dedication, a lot of interest. And for you guys to do as much research as I've seen you guys been doing, I found it quite amazing. I mean, we have people who are probably twice your age will not have that kind of interest and energy that you have put in. So I must compliment you guys, really. I mean, I've been trying to get young people from this country to look at things like Girmetia and our history and so on. And it just doesn't come through to them. There's hardly an interest from anybody. And you see people from overseas, out of this country, coming to this place of ours, looking at Durban, looking at our Girmetia history, and you want to learn about us. Guys, amazing. I can't get to my kids to look at anything like this, but I see you guys doing it. So brilliant, guys. That was absolutely fantastic. Then we met so many people from around the world, and it was quite amazing to hear all the stories. I am big on learning about people, interacting with them, asking them their backgrounds, and we found it fascinating that they actually made the trip to come to South Africa. When Kogi told me they were going to get about 25 people, I said, yeah, okay. I mean, who wants to come here and learn about our Girmetia experience here? And I didn't know what to make of it, but it did really happen. And I want to thank all our international visitors for turning out and being part of our experiences here. And it was absolutely great. And also, what I found amazing is that when we heard that there were so many similarities between our country and in particular us here in Durban, and looking at the West Indies and in particular people from Trinidad, there are some commonalities in terms of our difficulties and our challenges, which never occurred to me that you might be experiencing similar up there. I mean, I didn't know a thing about you guys up there besides your cricket, and that you have calypso music and you have reggae, and that's all I knew about you. And I did not realize that there were so many people, 500,000, I think, in Trinidad, am I right? Yeah. No, of Indian descent. I was quite amazed about that number. I knew there were some people there, but didn't expect it to be that number. And so it was great to hear also that you people up there have done so much to preserve your culture, and you participate in whatever you have in terms of culture, in terms of your religious practices, whatever religion you might belong to, and your cultural programs. Now and then I get onto my phone and I hook on to this Cutlass program and I go through that there and I look at it and I say, okay, I just couldn't quite figure out in terms of like what's the numbers that are participating in whatever Cutlass is showing us. So, and then to see people in the flesh, find out what goes on, and there's so many similarities as well. We've been told that you love our food, so we worked out that that was something you could relate to, and I was wondering, oh, okay, and fine. And
Not all
also
the
the
food,
Bhojpuri,
whatever it is. Huh?
the Bhojpuri,
You don't understand?
Bhojpuri commonality also. We do speak a bit of Bhojpuri, and you're big on that there. And well, I could really go on. We just have a minute left, but people, just to round off, it was brilliant having you guys here. I really want to make the trip if you have it in Trinidad, because I want to come and experience the place. I want to see the people. I'm not interested in looking at what buildings you got and so on. I just want to be with the people, eat what you eat, do what you do for entertainment or whatever. And I just want to see what you see in your land, and I hope to see you one day in Trinidad. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nash. You guys are hearing. So we just came from dinner with Nash, and he knows all the good places. And we've gotten such good home cooked food as well from Nash, his wife, as well as Shirley and Anisha and Savi. And oh my goodness, it's really, really quite a pleasure being here. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear as well from the next speaker, who is Sahil Desai. Sahil is quite an adventurer. Sahil was born in India. He lives in the US, and he's going to share a little bit more with you. No, he doesn't live in the US. He's all over the place now. Welcome, Sahil.
Well, I wasn't born in India either. I was born in Boston.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, there are my slides. Okay, so I did a lot of things with looking at food. But so these, when we asked about the names of things, these were bhajiyas, I think. So the bhajiyas, they're similar to the pakoras, but I think the people from Trinidad also said they were a bit similar to things that they had there. But I've had these bhajiyas in East Africa, in the US, in India. It's very interesting to kind of like the South African version seemed very similar to a lot of things that I've had in other places. Next slide. And this was a Nagara event. So I think Nagara is here. It's very similar to, it has similar origins to the chutney music in Trinidad. And I'm also really interested in music. And so I've been looking at how, I like looking at how people bring their traditions from home and then how they adapt it to the new place. So I think I was talking to somebody else yesterday, and Nagara instruments, I think, or the style started from people playing under trees when they were indentured. And then I don't think people initially had access to the instruments, and so they kind of slowly started to come over. But you have all these people who would either play Western instruments, and then but the Nagara groups are very particularly, they have these Nagara drums, they have a harmonium, they have a particular kind of singing. And then I think there are also these bells that people would be hitting against each other, but it's very interesting. And I've heard some of it, but I'd never seen it in person before. Next slide. And these were a take on puri pata. I can't remember what they're called in Gujarat. I don't know if anybody remembers what they're called, but it's basically like you have these leaves, and it has like a tandoori or a tamarind with besan and I think some other pastes, and then you roll up the leaves and you cut them. And I've had them in Gujarat and Maharashtra before, but I'd never had the puri pata version in South Africa, which has the fried puris on the outside. And this one is apparently like a party version. And so you take the puri patas and you cut them smaller, and then you wrap them in samosa pastry. And so those were also interesting and kind of picture like Edo leaves. Jay says it's called Edo leaves. Next slide. This is another photo from the Nagara group. You can see more of the instruments. There were some guitars on the side, the harmoniums in the back, the Nagara drum you can see a little bit of on the left side of this dress. And then I think also the Nagara dancers, they're all men dressed as women. But the origins, I think, were because there were like 70-80% men on the boats. So there weren't enough women to do these things. And so the men would dress as women to do it and maintain the tradition. But even as the populations have evened out, it's interesting that I think it's still primarily men who do the dancing. So it's taken on, it's like very particularly South African in its way. Next slide.
We have Suriname.
There's also men.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So apparently in Suriname and Netherlands, men also do it. So maybe it's from just the demographics of the boats
Of the indenture
and
experience.
indenture experience. This was
Biryani?
biryani at, I think this was biryani at one of the temples.
Yeah, the mint chutney looks.
Yeah. So it was a temple in Pietermaritzburg. So they had a big pot of biryani, veg biryani with these like all these sugar beans and butter beans. I had one of the beans. I don't remember which bean it had, but I think vegetarian biryani is not something that I've had a lot of, but I really like the South African version of it because it has all these beans and lentils and things that I haven't had in the biryanis that I've had from India before. But it's still very flavorful and you don't have to have the heavy meats. And then they had this nice mint chutney that went on it as well. Next slide. Oh, and these were really interesting because I think these are called bulbulas here. I think they're like cheeks, but they're like fried. These ones had pumpkin in them, but they're fried.
Like buttocks.
A tray says they're like buttocks, but we'll stick with the cheeks. So these bulbulas they're like the sweet dough, and then these ones particularly had pumpkin, and then they were deep fried. But these gulgulas, I've never had anything like this in India before, but I've had some things like this in a lot of different African countries, ranging all the way from South Africa, with like Zimbabwe and Mozambique, and everyone has their I think in East Africa they have something called mandazi, which is like also a sweet dough that's fried like this. And someone's saying gulgula is also common in Fiji, so it's interesting. So maybe it also does come from India, but I've never had it before. But this one seemed like it was very close to a lot of the different African cuisines, but it's interesting that it has its own name from India. Next slide. And then this one's another biryani at another temple, I think on our first day in Port Shepstone. It was a beautiful temple, often it was in the hills on the south coast by a river. And we had a whole prayer ceremony when we got there, and then there was music and we had biryani. I don't think I've ever had biryani in India that has like the particular salad that they have on the side. I think is very South African with the like lemon and the way that the carrots are shaved and the cucumbers and all that. I've never had that. And the hot peppers are in there also. So yeah, if you have something hot in the biryani, it might actually be the salad rather than the biryani itself. Next slide. Oh, and then there's also, is it kheer on that?
Yeah.
And then this was you can see the big pot of kheer. So this was in the temple that the biryani and kheer came from. And you can see in the back, somebody's pouring the pot of biryani into the serving containers. Next slide. And then this is another picture from the Nagara event that we had. This is another one of the dancers, but you can see the dress and whole outfit and everything. And you can see the arm of another dancer on the right side. Next slide. Oh, and then this in Pietermaritzburg, we went to the train station that Gandhi was thrown off of the train after he refused to get off of that first class car. I've seen this. I remember the first time I'd ever heard about that, I think it was in a movie or something, or a book I remember when I was like 5 or 6 years old. It was like in the first things I ever heard about Gandhi was him getting thrown off the train in South Africa, and I don't think I ever realized at that time that it was South Africa. But it's interesting going there now, and they have this whole statue there, and we also happen to be there. I think I was asking these workers when they clean, how often they clean the statue, but they said they polish everything, I think once every 2 weeks or something like that. But we happened to be there right when they were polishing it, which was kind of an interesting thing to see. Next slide. And this was the outside of the temple that had where we had the shots of the biryani and the whole wine, the table with the biryani and the kheer inside. But it was very colorful. The river is kind of behind the bus on the left side, where we had a whole procession of people going inside. You can also kind of see it's very green. It's kind of built onto the side of the hill, so it's a very nice location. Next slide. That's it.
Thank you.
That's it, Sahil. Well, thank you very much. Now we know all the food that we ate. Well, not all, most of the food that we ate. I want to thank you very much. But Sahil, you have 1 minute left. Can you just share something about the music that we experienced? A little bit about the music.
So I guess we talked about the Nagara music, but also when we were on the bus. The last time I was in Durban, I was sitting on a friend's couch and I heard some music from the Lotus radio station, which is the Indian national South African radio station. But I'd heard a song that's called, it goes, Nana riding bicycle, Nani ringing bell. And there's a song by Sundar Popo called Nani Nana, and then the words are not exactly the same, and it doesn't come out quite the same. But if you know the song by Sundar Popo, and Sundar Popo's from Trinidad, but if you know the song, you hear it, and you're like, this is from nowhere else. It's not possible. It's too exactly matching. But I think a lot of the South Africans in the bus knew that it's the South African song that I played, but didn't know the Sundar Popo song, and then a lot of Caribbeans knew the Caribbean song, but not the South African song. And so I think the South African version was made in, I think the Sundar Popo version was made in the 80s, and the South African version was made within the next 5 or 10 years. 70s. Okay. So it's the 70s maybe for the Sundar Popo's version, and then he redid it a bunch of times also. But the South African version was within like the next 10, 15 years at most. That also at a time when I don't think it was that easy to move. It was like relatively hard to move between, and people weren't flying across the world so easily. But it's interesting to me that the music was traded and remade across both of these places. And I think people also told me that the chutney music from Trinidad, it hit South Africa, especially like felt home in South Africa because of the Nagara music and the already existing chutney traditions and the Bhojpuri language and everything. So people already it like fit into a framework that everyone there already understood.
Yeah, so there are many similarities between the two countries, despite the fact that, according to Nash, they didn't really know us. They hadn't really seen us, people from the West Indies. Yet the music came here and so on. So let's hear more. Thank you very much, Sahil. Let's hear a little bit more about what happened here from Brinda Sunandan, and Brinda is from Mauritius. Brinda, go ahead, please. Can you unmute your mic?
Yes, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Okay, so I think someone will be sharing the pictures. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, it's coming up.
Good. So I'm from Mauritius, and it has been such a lovely and pleasant stay in South Africa, especially the warm welcome, the warmth of you people from South Africa, Durban. Okay, so 1860, the 1860 Heritage Museum, it made me realize also that Mauritius is among one of the first countries where indentured laborers were brought, and we are in South Africa also. It is like in the same line of indentureship. Okay, And it reminds us of the hard work of our grandparents, forefathers, our ancestors. And this is something which we must never forget. Okay, next slide, please. And also teach our children about the importance of our ancestors, and regards, of course, to our elders. And this one, it is from the mosque. I'm in Mauritius and I have been seeing so many mosques, but I was never able to enter in one. So it's thanks to South Africa here, to Durban, that we could get the opportunity to enter into a mosque and understand a little better the Muslim culture, if I can say, the way they do their prayers inside the mosque, which is, it really touched my heart, because in Mauritius, I would never have been able to get that courage to ask if I can enter in a mosque or not. So it was a real pleasure for me that today to be able to enter a mosque and understand better the Muslim culture. Yes, next. Yes, Rakhi Festival. We've been very far. We've been very far from our country. I think it's the first time. It's the first time that I'm not in my country during Rakhi Festival. But you can see my husband here. So we can say that really we did not miss that festival, because here also, even Shalima, being a Muslim, she was tying the Rakhi to, we had so many brothers. And it was like, but it is like we are all living in a situation of brotherhood here. For all these days that we've been here, okay, all these days that we've been here, we are really, really making as if we are really brothers and sisters, catering for the needs of each one. Huh? So that was really memorable, and a lot of warmth in that. Thank you. Next. Okay. So I got the opportunity to go. I have a friend from Durban, so we had the opportunity to have a short visit to the Umhlanga. I think I forgive me for the pronunciation. Umhlanga rocks with the lighthouse at the back. Okay, so it was a really lovely place to be there and seeing the how the sea is rough there, and yeah, it was really marvelous. Thank you. Next. Yes, this one. So apart from seeing so many beautiful features, so many big buildings in South Africa, we could also see the poor side, if you can say, of South Africa. And as you know, Nelson Mandela said that education is the most powerful weapon which we can use to change the world. And here I think that being in the education sector myself, I'm a deputy headmaster in a primary school. And as today also we met Ila Gandhi, who was saying that they have done so much effort in inculcating computer education, like to children, and these students have been able to earn a living later on through that. So I think that for me, once again, educating the mind without educating the heart also is no education at all. So that was by Aristotle, meaning that we need that that hard work. We need that hard work still in South Africa, so that we can educate more and more people so that they come out of this situation. Okay, so another quote from Mahatma Gandhi: if we want to reach real peace in this world, we should start educating children. And this is not something which is impossible. I think that if each one of us take the pledge of educating at least one person, one child, we will make this place a better one to live. Next one. Oh, okay. The beach. The beach where the Indian immigrants, they had landed. Okay. Addington, if I'm not mistaken, this is the name of the Addington. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly. Okay. So this is the beach where the indentured laborers, they laid their foot, they landed here. Oh, so it was really nice to do the prayers on that day, on that beach, to commemorate their arrival here. So really memorable place. Thank you. Next slide. I don't know. Oh, yes, yes. I think Sahil also talked about this spot. This spot also marked my heart somewhere, we can say, where Gandhi was thrown out of the train. And this is where he started really to, we can say, start the change he wanted to see in South Africa. So start the change in himself first, as we have learned today. So every one of us, there is something in our life which helps us to change ourselves to a better version. Okay, and this incident in Mahatma Gandhi's life, I think, was a turning point in his life. Through him, we can say that there was lots and lots of improvement in the situation we are here now, actually in South Africa. Okay, lots of improvement through that incident. So we always must remember that anything bad which happens, there is a reason behind that, and we can see the positive outcome of that. Next. Yes. When I entered the temple, okay, I could see so many idols, and then Shalima was, we were talking, and then I said that, oh, it's not only for North Indian deities there, but we can see also from the Tamil side. And then Shalima told me not only that, but even the Gujarati also would be there. So it was really heart touching to be able to see from all different communities, we can say, from different religious beliefs, to have all these deities in only one temple. So that's really brotherhood, that's really coming together to have a better strength. Yes, next, please. Oh, yes, Jaipur Palace in South Africa. Okay, yeah, the venue was really nice food. We thank all those who have been acting as sponsors for the dinners, the lunch, and especially for me, because I had so many brothers and sisters who did special effort for me, because I had only pure, we can say, sattvic food, and my dish was a bit separate, and they did so much, like so that I would not feel at a loss. Okay, thank you so much for being there for all of us, and especially for me.
Brenda,
Next.
feel free,
Yes.
as you wrap up now, feel free to let them know what you had for breakfast.
For breakfast, it was I was lots of fruits and yogurt, and then cereals. Mostly my breakfast was cereals with
Right.
all nuts and so on.
And then after breakfast, you had great food. What did you have?
Uh,
It was wrapped in foil, and who brought it for you?
ah, I may miss their names. There was Nash. There's also um, Anisha,
and Roy.
and then also Roy.
What did you
And
eat? What did Anisha cook for you this morning?
it was roti plus there was potatoes in that, potato curry, plus there is a bean which I forgot the name because it was the first time that I ate it. It was like butter beans, but I don't remember the name. Thank you so much. Oh, that gala dinner. It was really, really impressive. That venue. That venue was so beautiful. So beautiful. Like even in Mauritius, I haven't seen such a place. Perhaps I don't go often to gala dinners, I don't know, but I really like that place. Yeah, it was heart touching. And also, that's it. Okay. Of course, the conference was the first one, but I sent the photo in the last place. But the conference was a really memorable one, where we could learn so many things, and then sharing with so many people, being from South Africa and other parts of the world. That would be a memorable thing in my life. Thank you so much. Special thanks to Shalima and Dr. Mahabir. Yeah. Thanks, Shobi. Thanks, Shobi, for the nice buses which were provided to us for the tour. Okay. And of course, the HCOM conference, which was really nice once again. And that's it. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Brenda.
Thank you.
I hope you'll be joining us from Mauritius and a few other tours.
Yeah, the problem is that it is 11 p.m. in Mauritius when I'm in Mauritius. This is the main issue. At that time, it's not easy for me.
I know. We'll work it out. We'll figure it out. Thanks
Thank you.
again.
Thank you so much.
So at this time, because Brenda mentioned the conference and so on, I want to share with you now Premlal Ramlachan, who one of the persons who spoke on the tour, who spoke at the conference, and who also facilitated us through the his employer, which is Mancosa Institute, the same as that of the chairperson of the conference, Kivishni Naidu. So, Prem, can you please unmute your mic?
Yeah.
Ravin, can you please unmute Premlal Ramlachan? Okay, what? Okay, there. Okay, he's coming up now. And would you mind turning on your mic, turning on your video, please? Prem, you're unmuted. Would you mind turning on your video, please?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
We're hearing you, yes.
Right. So I was no. First of all, I must say greetings to all people of the world, and I'm so happy to to be a part of this. And I'm a newbie on the block. If South Africans
Thank you,
will know what I'm
Prem.
talking about.
Prem, may I interrupt you for just a second? Would you mind turning on
Yeah.
your video so that they can see you?
Okay.
Just turn on your video,
I'm doing
please.
just that. I just did that.
Okay.
Is it blank?
We're not seeing you, we're seeing blank.
Okay, can you just can I just speak?
Sure, no problem.
All right, so I just wanted to say that that the and I'm a newbie on this indenture history, and I was actually very impressed because I labeled this I labeled this conference that happened in Durban, many humans, one humanity, and that one humanity is indenture, and we are all products of indenture. And for me, I'm just looking at, and I told this to the conference when I presented my paper, that it was a homecoming. You guys came home, and it was so nice to see so many delegates from all over the world. I mean, people were here, people were there. I'm just hearing stories from Nash, from Sahil, from Brinda about their tour. I mean, and we all are connected by way of music, food, language, hospitality, places of worship like the mosque where you don't even go in Mauritius. And then, of course, the Rakhi festival or the Brotherhood, which you celebrated here. And of course, we are, with family in other parts of the world. So what I wanted to say, the homecoming is one thing. The other thing that I want to tell you is that there's a couple of things that I want to just pick on, at random. So the one thing that was actually discussed at the conference was the Global Research Institute. We'll be very interested in the Global Research Institute, which I'm thinking that Mr. Singh, the founder of the 1860 Legends, will have a big part to play. The Consulate General of India, who's based in Durban, by the name of Dr. Thelma John Davids, she mentioned to us that there's a castle in Mayville which is going to be dedicated to Indenture Archives Repository. Now that is something very important, and for me, that is like coming alive, because I'm thinking, wow, at least we have a place to go and check where our indenture archives are. Secondly, there were suggestions that were made by Professors Ashwin Desai and Ghulam Wayed, who were also some of the presenters. And these presenters were talking about when you honor a scripture, or when you honor a sculptor, that you must ensure that you never cherish colonial oppressors, because it's such a waste of time. And that point that he made, Ashwin Desai, is a point that people need to be taken care of. And the one thing that I also want to say, and I think our lady from Mauritius touched on that, it's a question of integrating indenture history into education. Ladies and gentlemen, at the conference, one of the speakers mentioned that they are awaiting 7 years for implementation of this onto the conference. So I'm saying to myself, if it's taking us 7 years to put indenture education into education, some of us may not even be around, the next time we meet. And it's so important for us to give this a push. So for me, what's going to happen is there needs to be, and I'm rounding up now, Shalima, there needs to be some kind of activism, because it would seem like maybe in the other countries, and I stand to be corrected, that the education, that the integrating of indentured history into education is much more faster. It happens quicker because governments see the light, and councillors see the light, government officials see the light. And if we've come here since 1860, if we've been here since 1860, and many people have progressed with their lives in different fields, in different areas. There are some very, professional and successful people in the country. And I'm saying to myself, then why isn't all this education, all this knowledge, all this experience into the history, into the education, into the curriculums of this country? For me, that is very important, because integrating indentured history into education is the key thing for us here. And we are at the moment have taken 7 years, and for me, that is just too long for anybody to be wanting to see the importance of indenture education. In rounding up, and thank you for giving me the opportunity, Shalima and Dr. Mahabir. I think even meeting you guys, I mean, you guys are so open, you are so caring, you are also absolutely, you give people opportunity. And I heard Shalima speak just now. She said, we'll make a plan. Now, this lady, nothing goes past her when she says make a plan. And then I'm looking at Kogi Archery. Kogi also will be very much a part of this plan. And I know that. Secondly, I think what's also important for us to go this route of actually trying to get education into the curriculum is because I think at the moment we do not have political clouds as an organization. And very much so, who we need to bring into this is from the South African side and from the Durban side is a lady by the name of Shamin Rajvansi. She's a politician. She actually, she thinks deeply about what you guys have been doing. And she was at the conference. She also did the paper. So that is one person that must be part of this team. And the other person to be part of the team, because this needs social media. It needs that kind of publicity to say, hey guys, come, put this thing onto the curriculum of every basic education and higher education. Shalima, I think thank you for your time, and thank you, Dr. Mabit, for giving me this time. Really appreciate it. And I think there's much better speakers on the chat, like Kiru Naidu, Ashwin Desai, Shanta Singh, Kiveshni Naidu, Kogi Ashri, who will tell you more about this. I'm very passionate about indenture because I'll tell you one thing, is that when I heard that my great-grandfather came from, I'm going to tell this right? I hope I tell this right. Bijrawan, Tikamgarh, Madhya Pradesh, India. So what did we do? I was very conscious. I said, hey, you know what? Let's go see where we came from, because you need to know where you come from. So we went and we traced back our roots. 2011, we met the families. 20 of us went and met the families there. The thing that I'm actually concerned about, which was a major epic journey into the village, but what I'm concerned about, there may be some of those family members that boarded the ship and maybe went into Trinidad and Tobago, or they maybe went into Mauritius. We don't know that. So that's why, Shalima, you're smiling. I gave you the shipping immigration list today. And I'm just saying, you never know whether some of that family may be in other parts of the world where you guys are, and maybe you can help to connect. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. Much appreciated. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye-bye. Good night.
Thank you so much, Prem. You've raised so many issues there. I really want to address each and every one. But I just want to share this with you, two things. Shamin Rajbansi and I are on the board of SOFAG, which I will share with you. There is already a curriculum being designed by persons in the Netherlands in collaboration with persons in India. And this is for online courses that's going to be run on grammatology. So please be rest assured it's going to be done. It is especially for bachelor's and master's degrees to be announced very soon. So Shamin is already on the board. Dr. Mahaber is an advisor to the board, as well as he's sitting on he's actually a consultant in terms of curriculum development. So this is already in the works. I would not have announced it if it wasn't in the works. We will be sharing more information, and we will be adding you as well, if that's okay with you.
No, fantastic. I would very much love to be a part of it because I'm passionate about this. And I think I spoke to Kogi, and Kogi said, no, we're going to go full steam ahead. And I think this is something that we need to do. After 7 years, Kogi, we can't let this happen to us. Thank you.
Yeah.
God bless.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Let me bring on now another speaker, and this is Mr. Kiru Naidu. Mr. Naidu has been very instrumental in organizing the last 2 days of the trips. And he's going to share as well about his experience. This man, I realize now, is well known in these parts. So I don't even need to introduce him, really. Welcome, Mr. Naidu.
Greetings, and let me acknowledge all our sisters and brothers all over the world, wherever you are joining us. I think the slide presentation I've shared already, so if we wouldn't mind putting that up. That looks lovely. So we've called this Personal Reflections, and that's a picture of Kubashni and I there. So she's just across from me, smiling here. So very pleased that we were able to share these reflections on the conference and the ICC tour. Now, I looked for a superlative to describe the conference and the tour, and in my very limited vocabulary, all I could come up with was remarkable. It's truly been a remarkable intellectual engagement in the conference, and just the fact of you being here from all these various countries to be able to share our experiences here in South Africa has just been overwhelming. And I want to acknowledge all of the people who are responsible, the Indentured Laborers Foundation, Verlem, and all of you at the Indo-Caribbean Cultural Center for pulling all of this together and giving us the privilege of being able to meet so many people and to be able to be engaged in this way. The next slide, please. I think that perhaps Dr. Ramlachan made reference to this. I just dreamt up this quote as we were preparing these slides, and it goes along the lines, "It is from Africa that we all arise, and it is to her that we have returned." And this is an image from the cradle of humankind in Maropeng, in the Gauteng province of South Africa. And, you know, we have a sort of sufficient evidence to show that all human beings originated in Africa. And as I looked at all these sisters and brothers from every corner of the world coming to join us for this conference and this tour, it's as if you've come back home. And I think this was a really poignant part of this exchange. Yes, the next slide, please. Yeah, this was one of my sort of favorite images of the tour, just to see how excited people were to greet each other, to meet each other, to see each other for the first time outside of a computer screen. And I could say that the warmth was just immediately palpable. There was a generosity of heart and spirit among all the people that were there. And I must make this reflection that throughout these days that we've experienced each other, all I could see was a generosity of heart and spirit. And I think that there was a really very powerful outcome of this tour. There wasn't a harsh word said to anybody. You know, it's not very easy having delegations that travel with each other and spend so many days with each other. And I thought that this was in perfect sync throughout. Yes, the next slide, thank you. Yeah, so I sort of gave you an indication here of the different elements of the conference. This was one of the slides that I had in my presentation. And I was really quite thrilled that as we shared our lives with you, you who came from Fiji and Suriname and Guyana and Mauritius and Trinidad and Tobago and the US and the UK and everywhere else, you were able to share your lives. And the fact of the synergy here was just so remarkable. And I was very pleased also that it wasn't just talking heads. And the film that was shared between Suriname and the Netherlands, I thought the young men there did a phenomenal job of gathering those stories. Also helped a great deal that in whatever the languages that were on that screen, whether Hindi or Dutch or English, we could grasp all of that. So there's a commonality of our experiences there that I thought was a powerful outcome of that aspect of the tour and the conference. The next slide, please. I was just again sort of dreaming up titles for these things, and I think a good summary here is that we wear a merry band, and you could see the smiles on the faces of the people. This was remarkably hard work. You know, I spent most of my life in the university system, and I'm a veteran of conferences, and I know the enormous amount of effort and energy that it takes to organize a conference, let alone a tour that runs into so many days here. And if you look at this picture, you will just see smiles on the faces of Kiveshni and all of the other people associated with this year, the presenters and others. And of course, right in the middle is the doyen of intellectual exchange in our city, Dr. Betty Govenden. And she's just such a remarkable kind of the glue that holds our community together, right across race, class, gender, disciplines, and so on. And it's such a joy that we were able to spend so many days with her. We were indeed a merry band through this. The next slide, please. Here again, I think we had communion, and the different images here, the remarkable hospitality that we had at Mancosa, the dinner there. The image on the top right-hand corner of the screen was from a book launch at Ike's Bookshop, and some of us went there. And interestingly enough, even though it wasn't part of the program, but there was mention made of the conference and the proceedings there and so on. Further communion, you will see the luncheon we had at the Little Gujarat sort of takeaway and restaurant there on Dr. Gunham Street, which is now, was previously called Prince Edward, and she's one of the great heroes of the struggle for South African freedom. So the fact that we could walk on the street named after her and have a meal there was just wonderful. Another aspect of the communion, in the bottom right-hand corner, I didn't want to photograph the people who with whom meals were being shared there, because these are homeless, unemployed people and people who are refugees and asylum seekers and so on. And part of the tour there received by Dr. A.V. Muhammad was just to reflect on that experience of a common humanity. And, if we had another frame there, we would have seen the hundreds of people who came in to be fed, to get a shower, to wash their clothes and so on at the Dennis Hurley Center. So all in all, it was not just partaking of a meal, but just sharing our common humanity in those particular settings. The next slide, please. So almost as if I was developing some lyrics here. So I said, and we had communion, and of course we had confrontation also, which was always a handy part of a conference. I always have this view that if everybody thinks the same, then nobody thinks at all. And I think it was wonderful that we could have disagreements about how we understood indenture and the different ramifications of it. And some of the antagonists and protagonists of that confrontation you'll see in various forms in this particular picture. The next slide, please. And we had colloquium. So the different settings here, thank you very much for having visited our university there. This was the University of KwaZulu-Natal and the Westville campus. That's a very precious part of so many of our existence. The fact of your visit to the 1860 Heritage Center, entirely sort of managed by volunteers. You met Dr. Muhammad, who is a member of the board there, and my brother by another mother, Selvan Naidu, who's put up all of those displays and pulled the collections together. Just a fascinating work there. And then on the bottom right-hand corner, another part of our colloquium, there was Mr. Rudran Mudli and his sister Tamare, Pam, and the fact that they could tell us an oral history of a space at the market in which they've been for more than 70 years. And the last quadrant there on the left, part of the discussion we had on Women's Day, and that's Linda Zama. They're very expressive, and I described her as Madiba's other daughter, and she shared with us a lot of those experiences on Women's Day. The next slide, please. Oh, and there, I was really getting into some lyrics. So we sang a lot of Hindi and chutney songs over the days, but we had joy, we had fun, we had seasons in the sun. And just the fact of those tours through the streets, you know, those streets on which we walked are such a precious part of our existence. And Kubashni and I are there almost every Saturday morning, walking those streets, shopping there, eating in those parts. So it was to give you an insight into our world. And those streets, I'm sure, replicate the streets that you will see in Port of Spain, in Delhi, in Mauritius, and I'm sure in all of the other indenture colonies. The picture of it, the lentils in the sacks, and just the general look and feel of it was entirely the same wherever we'd gone. And just some pictures of the streets there, the church, and the different environments that we went to. You will see some very active shopping there, Shobi and Shalima and others. So I'm sure you had great fun on the streets of Durban there. The next slide, please. And this, of course, was the picture of the tour for me. This was the picture of contentment. And we had Brinda, sister, just now speak about that mosque. And it's the largest mosque in the Southern Hemisphere. And it was remarkable that we could spend that time there and have some frank exchange of ideas. Shalima, we must pick up another time your and my discussion on the sidewalk there about some odd interpretations of Islam and how we should, whatever faith we're in, we should always work to build community rather than find odd points of difference to divide us. But I think that the wonderful reception we received in that mosque, and I think I caught you just at the right moment there with that picture. And when I showed it to Kubashni, when I was setting up these slides, she too thought it was a lovely picture of the tour. Thank you. The next slide, please. Yeah, well, this was, we have in our local colloquial Tamil in Durban, we say Nana Poita Vara. And I'm sure that those people who share my heritage in this part of the world will understand that, where we say, I'm going, but I'm going and I'm coming back. So there's no goodbye in our language. And the idea is that we speak about going and returning. So Taivu say yudu Tiruppi Varungil, okay, meaning so that you will have to draw your visit to a close now, but we look very much to having you back in our midst. And last word I want to say here, it was almost, and Kubashni and I had a long discussion about this, it was just so unusual that when we have brothers and sisters visiting from somewhere, that you would stay in a hotel, because culturally for us, you have to come and stay at home. Even if we put gudris down on the kitchen floor and we slept, it's what we've always done throughout our lives, certainly here. So I hope that when we do this again, you will come and accept our hospitality to stay in our homes and share food at our tables right here. But this has been a remarkable experience, and I'm really very grateful for having met all of you and the exchanges we've had. Shalom, Assalamu alaikum, Om Shanti.
Walaikum salam. So, brother, it was such an honor and a pleasure, and I have to thank Kubashni and you for such a, sometimes there are no words. And I agree with you. There's nothing like goodbye. I personally hate to say goodbye. I just like to say, see you later.
Mm-hmm.
So at
Indeed.
this point, I think I will just, you're a walking encyclopedia, and I really appreciated every moment that you shared with us. And I'm so looking forward to tomorrow and the day after that when you'll be with us. I really I think we appreciated you before. We've had you on the program. We knew what you could give, but being with you and walking through the streets and yes, having the conversations while we were there was so much more enriching. And I feel like I need a whole week more just with you, and then a whole week more with some others, and so on. We haven't had enough of South Africa as yet. It's just begun. And now we're on the downside, unfortunately. So this is not goodbye. This is see you later.
Change your ticket and stay.
I'll try. Thank you so much. So, ladies and gentlemen, he talked about shopping. He took us to the best places, and we did not want to leave. And I have to tell you, I really did not get enough done. And neither did Shobi. So I want Shobi to come on now. Shobi Ali is from London, and this is Shobi's third tour with us. This is my sister from another mother and from another country. But Shob, go ahead. Share something about your experiences, please, and all the shopping we still have to do. You're unmuted. Go ahead.
Thank you, Shalima. So I've really been enjoying my time here. There are sadnesses and there are lots of things to be glad about. We were asked to do our experiences as international visitors of the conference and the tour of Durban. This picture here obviously is us at the conference of the international guests. And I would like to draw thanks to the lovely young man. I think he is, that I know is, I've forgotten the lady's name.
Hazel.
Hazel. Sorry, Hazel. How could I forget you? And he opened the conference with the symbolic shell blowing, which was beautiful. Next slide, please. So I'll just read this quickly. It's a quick thank you. And we've had lots of those to Dr. Kogi and her team for their warm welcome to Durban, South Africa, and to Dr. Kumar and Shalima for the collaboration and connections that we've all made here. They've made that possible. All the team in South Africa, my heartfelt thanks to you. Just to say, I'm a proud descendant of Indian indentured laborers in Guyana. I was born in Guyana, I live in the UK, and I know of my ancestors' roots in India. I often go on cultural experience tours around the world in this and other groups, and I link my interest to the intersections of culture, diaspora, ethnicity, and European colonialism with identity. I combine my knowledge and learning of indentureship with the Atlantic slave trade, which our forefathers continued in their hard labor on the plantation work after slavery was ended. I feel it is important to recognize and remember both ethnic groups suffered tremendously, and that African enslaved around the world and Indian indentured laborers both endured hardships and spilled blood, sweat, and tears. And for that, I acknowledge all those who have passed, who toiled in all colonized lands. Next, please. So I have not got a script to read, and I did a collage, as I like to do, of all the culture and historical sites in Durban. And I have really, really enjoyed seeing places of my heroes, Gandhi and Mandela. And we've been whizzed around on this tour, seeing all these different cultural heritage sites, which I've really enjoyed. The 1860 heritage cultural site is fantastic. And the curator, and I'm sorry, I just don't have a note of all the names, but he's done a wonderful job there. So informative, so educational, and I can't wait to go back and spend a longer visit.
Sure, that's Selvan Naidu.
Selvan Naidu, of course. Thank you. Yeah, I've just been really, interested to learn about the heroes I know, and now I have some new heroines, such as Phyllis Naidu, I believe, yes. So I really enjoyed learning new things as well as adding to the knowledge that I already know about Nelson Mandela and Gandhi. That their wealth of knowledge is so vast, you can always be learning more about them. Next slide, please. So these are some of the cultural and religious experiences I have been able to enjoy here in Durban. So we've been to Christian churches, to Hindu temples, and we also went, you saw a lovely picture of Shalimar in the mosque. I've enjoyed all of it. You can see at the bottom there, we went to the beach, which was beautiful, and we gave homage to our ancestors with the lovely marigolds. I won't go over all the photos, but you can see there that we've really been busy. Next slide, please. So this is some of the cultural music and dance experiences that we have enjoyed. I'm glad that they were given diversity to not just ethnic groups that we have been seeing, but also to the diversity of young and more mature, I'll say that word, ladies. So in the top left, you can see the elder ladies performing a dance, because obviously we're always seeing beautiful young dancers as below in the Bollywood dance performance we had, but I really enjoyed the elder ladies doing a performance, and I thought actually our lovely Auntie Savvy would join them, but of course, as you can see, Savvy has her own stage and performed her own dances, also with her husband Uncle Ramesh, doing a dance that we all enjoyed and then joined them. So also Sahil, who I've just met here, I enjoyed his playing of the musical instrument. I could just go on and on, but there's no time. Next slide, please. So this is cultural food, arts and crafts experiences. So I've really, the colors are so amazing, the colors and the variety of fruit and food. Of course, we have the famous bunny chow there, and the crafts that the ladies make. Obviously, there are some males in the top left when we went to the waterfall, and he made these little cars, I think out of beads, and Shalima bought some for her nieces and nephews. But you can see the detail that is put into these crafts is amazing. And of course, at the bottom there, are there no limits to Auntie Betty's craft talents? Not only is she superb with poetry and literature and all her amazing writing, but she was also sitting doubling up at the conference by knitting away. I think she was making a pink hat, I'm not sure, but I was quite impressed with that, and I was overjoyed to actually meet Auntie Betty in person. The lady in the middle at the top left, she was in the market, and I bought lots of her jewelry. Next slide, please. So this is some of the beautiful nature experiences that we've had in Durban. As I mentioned, the waterfall, and I forgotten the name of it. I've recently been to Kaichor Falls, but this was just as beautiful. And we also went to the beach, as I mentioned earlier, to do the marigolds in honor of our ancestors. Next slide, please. So just to say, I saw this poster in a place where a mosque, a Hindu temple, and a Christian church were built in close proximity to each other, with local people able to share spaces of worship and live harmoniously in peace, often able to enjoy each other's religious practices. So I just read the poster, because I was very touched by this, and I'm very saddened by what is, as I'm sure we all are, and everybody around the world is, that what's going on with the suffering in Palestine and other parts of the world and all the other wars. I'm not going to make it political, but we talked a lot about the sufferings of our ancestors and the indentured laborers and the enslaved Africans. But I just saw this and I just was quite touched by it. One day the wind will carry laughter instead of screams. That really resonated with me. And so I dedicate my presentation to the hope that children and all people screaming in wars can again very soon enjoy only tears of laughter. Thank you.
Shob, that was beautiful. I want to thank you so much. It was a lovely way to end that particular presentation. I mean, it was such a reflective presentation with all the photos and everything, all that you've shared. And at this point in time, you've led me straight into our next speaker who lived here, lived through some tremendous experiences. He was the only person who has been living out of the country and has returned home. And I really would like to hear him over the next few minutes share what this homecoming has been like. Jay Nair, please go ahead, unmute your mic. Jay, please unmute your mic.
Right.
Go ahead.
Jay, use it.
If you're all in the same room, one of you all have to mute.
Thank you,
Yes.
Shalimar. Can you hear me?
Yes. Go ahead,
Yeah,
please.
no. Thank you. I was just thinking of something.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Jay.
Well, coming after 10, 15, 16 years, almost 16 years, there's lots that I've seen. And to meet people that I left many years ago, since 1976, and I came during periods when I had to come and attend the funeral of my brother, the late Billy Nair, and to meet young ones who are now elders, didn't know of my background. I see a scene where I am a little uncomfortable, to say it with feeling, because what we struggled and what we fought for does not reflect what I see today. While some people have flourished, have become, affluent, there are others that I still see the shanty towns growing by leaps and bounds. South Africa is a country, one of the richest countries in the world, one of the most beautiful countries in the world, and coming with the ICC community of the Caribbean and the Indian diaspora around the colonies of the world, I feel saddened to see what I saw in the trips around Durban. And this is reflective not only in Durban. Cape Town has the same problem. Johannesburg, the Transvaal, Gauteng province has the same problem. And one asks, what did we all struggle for? The struggle stalwarts that are in their graves, but returning in the graves to know what is going on. And the other thing is, I heard of people talk about corruption, and this is growing by leaps and bounds. But whatever I saw and whatever I enjoyed, and some of the things that wrongly stated, and some of the most educated people didn't know of these things that happen in this country. So all in all, this trip was an eye-opener for me and eye-opener for some of the participants that came with this group. And hopefully, whoever came will take the lessons that they've learned here, the scenes that they've seen, back home and reflect and see how you can improve yourselves in your colonies so that you don't emulate what's happened in South Africa. And that is the message I'd like to leave with everybody tonight. And it's a pity I don't have pictures. I've got a load of pictures, and one of these days I'll download them and send it to Shalima, and whatever they want to use, they can use. And it's something that I reflected upon when I was speaking at the UDW campus. And people were shocked that here's a guy who came. I boycotted that university because that was the mission of the Natal Indian Congress, South African Indian Congress, and the African National Congress, that we boycott tribal universities when they opened on Salisbury Island, which is in the Bay Area. And my brother and I refused. We didn't refuse. My brother told us not to go to the university, and we boycotted it. And to see that the opening of the university in the 80s under the House of Delegates, under the Indian Council, you found that people have, through the resilience and the Indian tradition, where education was crucial in the lives of the growing child, they excelled. And today we've got people like Kiru Naidu, Selvan Naidu, all graduates of UDW. And we have many others, Ashwin Desai, Ghulam Vaid, all of them. But the distribution of wealth is not there. The distribution of wealth that South Africa has is not distributed properly. It is an improper distribution, which I hope before I pass this journey of my life to see equality, equity, and inclusion prevail. And I mentioned that at Menkosa, and hopefully Menkosa takes that to heart and improves in the light of what the Freedom Charter and what the Canadian, I'm talking about the South African Constitution and the Bill of Rights want. So I'll leave it at that, and hopefully I'm happy to be back. I'll be still in the country visiting with friends and family. Thank you very much, Shalima.
Thank you so much, Jay. But before you go, is there any moment during that particular, during the tour, during the conference, that delighted you? Did you enjoy, do you remember anything that you enjoyed in particular?
Oh my God, you want me to start? I love
I'll give you just 1 minute.
The puri pata, which I missed from the time, for the last 5 years I missed it. And I was really enjoying that. And the gulgula, the pakora, and what was the other thing? The biryanis.
Yeah, the biryanis.
Yeah, I missed all that because being in Canada, we just a little different diet.
Yeah.
The food,
the food.
the food.
Terrific. The food. This is my first time in South Africa, and oh my goodness, the food, really. And even today at the Mariaman Temple, wouldn't you agree that was excellent food?
Yeah. And,
I have
and
to say
the other
hats
thing,
off.
if you
Thank you.
remember, I am making a statement that watch out about South African hospitality.
Yeah.
Would you agree
You
that
did. You forewarned us.
I warned you?
Put on a few kilos, yeah.
It is really indescribable, I have to say.
Yeah,
I have
yeah,
to say it's absolutely wonderful.
yeah.
Thank you, Jane. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was Mr. Jay Nair sharing. And at this point, I'd like to bring on Mr. Ramesh Ramlogan. He's another Trinidadian who's on the tour. This is his second tour with us. And I would appreciate it if he can go ahead and share his particular experiences along with his lovely wife, Savi, who is there with us somewhere in the back.
Thank you, Shalimar.
Navin, can you bring up? Sure, can you bring his PowerPoint, please?
Yeah.
Thanks.
I didn't get his presentation. Is it Michael Ramlavan?
Yes, yes.
Shakira has it.
Yes.
Okay, can I proceed?
Not yet.
Yeah, you can go ahead and start to talk and the PowerPoint will come up.
I can share it. I will share it now. One moment, please. There it is.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much,
Full screen.
Shalima, Shakira, and everyone else. First, I'd like to start by saying Namaste, Sitaram, Assalamu alaikum, wherever in the world you may be. My talk is slightly different from, I guess, the other previous speakers. This is my experience that Savi and I would have had coming to Durban and the experience in the conference and the tours here. First of all, in order to find out how we came here, we got to go back a little bit and find out where we came to be here. So I said it took Savi and I 48 hours to reach Durban from Toronto, leaving at 2:30 p.m. on 31st of July to arrive at about 11:30 a.m. on the 2nd of August. Arriving at Durban Airport a bit later than predicted, and Savi having requested a wheelchair, we had to wait last to disembark the aircraft and then collect our carry-ons from the carousel, which were the only ones left there. There was a couple assigned to meet us, and they became very concerned upon seeing the whole aircraft emptied. Can you put the next slide, sorry, please? Right. They became very concerned having seen the whole aircraft emptied and not any sign of us. They immediately called Dr. Mahavir to find out what was happening. Eventually, we came out of the reception area to be greeted by this lovely couple with huge smiles on their faces and a look of relief, right? Also, they immediately presented Savi with a traditional shawl. You can see it over there. and we took some photographs of all of us, the four of us. We immediately created a bond with Shirley and Anand Jairaj. And I've come to call him now Anand Ji. That is my term of endearment for Anand. On the way to our hotel, we drove through a beautiful countryside of rolling hills and cane plantations. It immediately reminded me, brought back old memories of Trinidad with cane and of places called Claxton Bay and Siparia. We later had breakfast with them and was then guided to the conference hall where we met Dr. Kumar Mahabir and Shalima Mohammed and several other persons, namely Hazel Lachman and Dr. Archery. Everyone greeted us there with enthusiasm, and the hall was a buzz of activity and preparation. Anand was particularly interested in ensuring that I was able to find my way to and from the conference hall and the hotel, for which I was very grateful. Well, this slide is already there, but we'll keep it. A chat group was established by Shalima for the ICC SA South Africa conference. And that evening, one of the members, Nalini Naidu, suggested we meet for dinner at the ground floor of the restaurant. 12 of us eventually met, and you can see that in the photograph there. All having gathered, Savi, being a mover and shaker that she is, organized the seating, ordering process, and payment method. All agreed we didn't have a choice. And the setting was good, the meal was fine, and the company was great. On day one, session one, that was on Sunday, 3rd August, the opening session went well with registration, announcements, welcome remarks, and other remarks flowing smoothly. The late morning session began to get rather in-depth and heavy, for me that is. Being very tired and suffering from some jet lag, I could not resist closing my eyes for short bursts. This session dealt with women and indenture. After lunch, the afternoon session did not make things easier. Art, sport, and movement were the topics. Approximately 26 sessions, from my count, took place on day one. I found the itinerary too packed, too cramped, too demanding for me, mentally challenging, and the presenters all had to cut their presentations to fit the allotted time. I understand that there were so many presenters and the time was very limited. Okay, number 4, we're on it already. A tear came to my eyes when Dr. Mahavir highlighted the uniqueness of Trinidad and Tobago in its achievements. He spoke about things like doubles, Ramlila, Hose, the Tassa drumming, Raymond Ramnarayan and chutney singing, and so on. But I think he forgot the dantal. On day 2, on the 4th, to me, I'm saying this is my view only. I'm finding now that this conference is by academics for academics. The number of papers to be presented is so huge, I think there were 51 papers, that each presenter needed to fast track their presentations to keep within the stringent time limit, such that the essence of the presentation is often lost. That's I found that. As a minority, non-academic, I find that a lot of the presentations by, of course, professionals, doctors, professors, researchers, PhD students, and the like, to be very often too technical for my understanding. I wondered if others like myself were present, what would be their reaction? Number 5, please. Next slide. On a positive note, I found a presentation by Hazel Lutchman, a non-academic, I believe, on South Africa and so on, from South Africa on day 2 to be one of the best so far. Simple, straightforward, and interesting. I had to personally commend her for this. The presentation by Professor Rajan Mestri, whose research on preparation and so on of the Durban ship lists was also noteworthy. It would seem that the best wine was left for last. On the final or 3rd day, the presenters, the presentations, and the topics were exciting, lively, and relevant. The presentation by Professor Chatraderi Devrup and ADV Robin Sulal and Professor Ashwin Desai were all excellent, clear, straightforward, interesting, and factual. Next slide, please. On the evening of day 1, we were invited to dinner at the Jaipur Palace, a former clubhouse, I would say, for whites only. The welcome address by J. Ramkisoon, seen in the picture here, I'm shaking his hands. He's an attorney slash accountant. It was enlightening, moving, and captivating, relating his experiences as a youth in university when he tried to enter that very same location and was thrown out because he was not white. So anyway, he returned afterwards and eventually, and after, I think, apartheid, he was able to buy the same property, and he has a thriving restaurant there right now. He's also the owner of several companies. As you can see, J. Ramkissoon Group, and the list of them there. I couldn't help but resist the temptation to have to meet him, shake hands with someone so vibrant, so powerful, so energetic, and so successful. It gave me a lot of inspiration. Next slide, please. There was too much to eat. Breakfast, mid-morning snacks, lunch break, evening full dinners every day. We were overwhelmed with food. The South Africans didn't know what else to do to make us happy. We had full days every day. I mean, the amount of hospitality, friendship, attention, it just was overwhelming. From approximately 9 a.m. till 8 p.m. on most days, right? We were involved with people taking us around, and it was so packed. There was so much to see and do. My mind can't even barely remember what had happened in the last day or 2 days. Next slide, please. I had an opportunity, I think it was on the gala night, the night of the conference. We were invited to this, what was the name of the place? Mount Edgecombe Conference Center. I wore the cape or shawl that was given to me, and Savi wore the one that was given to her. And I felt it was an opportunity to gallery a little bit. So I decided to sit on this lovely chair that they had there and take a picture with Savi on one side and Shobi on the other side. And I've called that photograph from indentureship to lordship. Don't believe half of it, however. Next slide, please. Yes, we were able to meet with the owners of the said establishment. And again, it goes to show, and it's amazing how in a fairly short space of time that the South Africans have moved from being second-class citizens to, I'd say, first-class citizens. They have done well in business, in education, in commerce, in you name it. And it's very impressive to see that. So here's a picture with the owner and his wife at that conference center. Next slide, please. Yeah, this was a group of the delegates and whatnot at another location. I can't remember exactly, but I think it was a temple. I think a temple that we had been invited to. Again, another place where we went and we had meals and whatnot. So, next slide, please. Yeah, so we went to a high-end temple in another part of the town. And what first came to my attention when we arrived there with our guests, our host who brought us there, I saw the name of the street was Ham Bridge Street. So something came to my mind immediately, and I say, that's the name, and you have a temple there. So I thought somewhere during the course of the evening, I had to bring that in, maybe a little bit of humor to the members of the temple. And I couldn't resist the temptation because they had a group playing there, and and they were playing musical instruments that were so much like Trinidad. Harmonium, dolak, tabla, the majiras, But one thing I think they missed out there, and I was inclined to mention it, the dantal. If they had a dantal to accompany them, it would have made the session really complete. Next slide, please. Right. I was really brought to how should I say, almost to tears when I saw the location where Gandhi was thrown off the train. I might have a smile on my face, but that's only to cover the feelings that I really felt inside. It was really warming, heart-moving, touching. Next slide, please. And here we went to the part of the Indian Ocean where the indentures landed and they came off the boats. And I had to take my shoes off, stand in the water, and feel the vibrations of the Indian Ocean. Next slide, please. Oh, we went to another temple. I think this was on the first day of the tours. And there was music, and there was one guy playing the guitar and singing there. He was so good that the music was so infectious, we had no choice but to get up and dance. I don't think it's a video, but it's not playing well. But Savi got up, I got up, and several of the other people on the at the thing there got up and danced. Next slide, please. Oh, there it is. But we won't go into. Yes, there's a guy playing there, and right, you probably see Savi coming in now. Yeah, and I don't know if you'll see me coming in now. Right, I think after that it begins probably someone who is doing it. So we can stop that video there if you don't mind. Can we?
Stop the video.
Yeah, stop that video.
They have to do
that. Can we stop that video, please? Because it's all side on the side. I didn't take it, but whoever took it, that.
Next.
Right. Next slide, please. Now, the final thing. Who can come to South Africa and not enjoy bunny chow? I am there enjoying my bunny chow, and it was really a new experience for me. And I say that it's pretty much like coming to Trinidad and Tobago and not having doubles. You must have a taste of bunny chow. It's worth the while. So with that, I'd say, first of all, I'd just like to thank, what's his name? Jason, right? Anand, who I'm now calling Anandji. Jason is really Roy. I renamed him. Danny Naidu, I think it is. And Mr. Anandji, right? Those people, they came out, they took us around, and they really helped us. And I must say, I want to say thank you to everyone else who there and helped us, and everyone else. I'd like to say thank you so much, and God bless. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much, Ramesh. I never thought I would hear a Trini complain about food or there being too much.
Too much.
All right, thank you very much for that. We have, we're at 4:58 in Trinidad. We have 2 minutes left, so we're going to go over just a little bit. We'll take 2 more speakers, and I'm going to ask Atreyi Fukan and her husband, Dominic Huber, to please go ahead with their presentation. Atreyi, let's hear from you guys.
Thank you, Shanima. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we're hearing you and seeing you. Go ahead.
Before we start, I want to just say that this beautiful hotel, AHA Gateway, has made it possible for us to be together as a group to attend this this Zoom meeting. So I just want to say hello to also Pawan and Feroz from the Netherlands / Suriname, and Dominic Step, and also Mohammed Baksh from Guyana, Canada. And I think Dominic's going to start, and then I will continue after him. And then we have screen sharing. So I share my screen.
You should have screen. Navin, can we please have screen sharing for Atreyi Fukan? Thanks.
Go ahead, Dominic.
Let me know if you can hear me well. I would like to
Yes, go
begin, I would like to begin by recognizing the land we are on and the people it nourishes today. Also, the organizer of this conference and the tour, as well as all participants. Thank you for welcoming me as non-Indian participant. I was born in Switzerland and grew up in southern part of Italy, which are culturally opposite. I never really belonged to either one. I found the use of photography as a tool to fill these contradictions, which are part of my identity as an artist activist. I curated an exhibition on the Guatemala genocide, worked on collaboration with the Zapatista movement in Mexico, as well as a 20 years long documentation on the transformation of the Lower East Side in New York City, major entry point of the immigration in the 19th and 20th century. With my partner and wife, we have been working and collaborating for the last 20 years on, we produced a book on wind instruments that go back to the pharaonic time in Egypt, worked on the City Women Collective in South India, started and still working on a research project on the wild silk, Muga silk in Assam, northeast of India. Thank you. And I give the voice to Patrick to come.
Make me do the hard work. Thank you, Dominic. So just in connecting with Dominic's land acknowledgement, which is a huge part of the way that I like to include my teaching philosophy to my students, that land acknowledgements have to not just be a speech, but be a part of the way that one lives and does research. Cannot just be a statement that you say in language. So I was really touched to see in Phoenix, in the Mahatma Gandhi House in the Phoenix settlement, and at the temple that we visited today, land acknowledgements by, I don't know if the participants can see, land acknowledgements that gives homage to the indigenous peoples of South Africa by the Lakota, a nation of North America. And it says here that I honor your people, I honor your land, and I hope you will honor mine as well. So I was very touched to see land acknowledgements in these significant sites. You'll have, I hope the audience will also forgive me. I did a rush job because I've been attending day-long tours with the group, so my slides are not in order. So this is the last place that we visited, which was Phoenix Settlement. One of the things I wanted to share about my experience in South Africa is the meaningfulness of the group that I'm sharing this experience with, which includes the people that I'm sharing this table with tonight, but also the ways in which South Africa, like India, where I'm from, juxtaposes beauty with poverty, with hope, with a lot of destitution and poverty, which is hard to grapple with, but it makes us think about how to continue thinking about the ongoing legacies of colonial capitalism, which today we see in the form of classism and racism in different ways. So in this picture that you're seeing right now, if I'm remembering, the second image is a view of Phoenix, a view from Mahatma Gandhi House onto the Black neighborhood that it overlooks. In the left image, you see the what used to be Indian houses. I'm sorry if I'm using incorrect terminology, but the houses that were built for Indians in the Phoenix settlement. And on the right-hand image, you have African inhabitants, indigenous peoples of the South Africa who are currently living in shacks, which are just juxtaposing the Phoenix settlement. I always like to photograph the photographer. So in the middle image is my partner, my husband, who is we were photographing the Marian Temple, which I really loved seeing different forms of the Marian Temple in South Africa, because sometimes you feel like you're just worshiping a mound of earth. And as a person who is not following any traditional religion, I love to think of people who probably the original ancestors who are worshiping just a mound of earth that is left by a snake. So that's the right-hand image. And the second image is my partner who's photographing a cat who's drinking from the water that you would offer to the devotees. So perhaps don't drink that water, but it's okay. The left image is the compensation mill, which is, you can see it in the left-hand corner of the image. And I loved this moment on one of the first days that we went to this mill, which is beside this temple, which is really hugely reflective space in which you can actually sort of sit with the ancestors, with the indenture ancestors, thinking about the ways in which they built places of worship from mounds of earth right beside the places in which they labored. So the left-hand image is another Marian temple that we went to, where they welcome peacocks and cats. And the right-hand image is just the group that I traveled with, any opportunity to dance. And I'm serious about this, on the bus, in the temples. It's an example of the kind of community that was also built by the group that I traveled with, which, by the way, represents people from across the indenture diaspora, from Guyana, Trinidad and Tobago. I'll just include India in there just for fun. Fiji, Suriname, the Netherlands, Canada, which is second diaspora, Guyana. I think I'm repeating myself, but really, which always reminds me of how indenture was diasporic and continues to be diasporic. The annual sari stroll, which we attended today, I loved, because it's an example of the ways in which we have to think of South Africa today, which I learned on this trip, as needing to continue to integrate. So in the left-hand slide, you have African women who are wearing the saris in solidarity, because I learned from an Indian woman that she doesn't feel comfortable to just wear a sari on the street. So she can only do it on special occasions. And so the sari stroll is a very important example of the ways in which they created moments in which it was okay to wear a sari. The right-hand slide, extreme right-hand slide, is my one of the scholars that I really admire, Ashwin Desai, who I don't know, he wore like a satyagrahi outfit or something in full white, but he stood in the front with the women in solidarity with the sari stroll. So I love the ways in which the South African indenture diaspora makes spaces for women, especially, to express their continuing evolution of what it means to be Indian in the Indian diaspora, but also specifically the post-indenture diaspora. I also really will cherish the ways in which the post-indenture diaspora in South Africa makes spaces for, just for lack of a better way of thinking about it now, because I'm rushed, ways in which that out of necessity, where the Nagara tradition was created because there were no women doing indenture. Today, in the post-indenture diaspora, it allows young men to explore their sexuality, whether or not they're queer, explore their different ways of being masculine, the femininity and masculinity through the Nagara dance, continuing that tradition. So these are the men who danced in with the Nagara band that we had a chance to witness on one of the days. So monuments and memorialization, this is I think this is close to my last slide, but this is one of the ways I'd like us to, or that I'm thinking about the ways in which monuments and memorialization in South Africa continue to erase indenture history from the South African, from common, the visibility of South Africa today. So we went to this place where we went to this place where was it the original embarkment of indenture laborers, but there was no trace of them on the site. So just as I leave, because I haven't had time to process my time here, we're still on the tour, I'm thinking of the ways in monuments and memorialization also become a part in the project of state erasure of certain kinds of histories and certain people's experience of place and space. I didn't see any traces of indenture, the history of indenture in this space, and I think that's significant. And so I wanted to also, before I leave, to say thank you to the organizers, to the people who are joining us today. Please note that on the left-hand side, every morning we had to attend roll call. This is Koji, who would always do the attendance, and we had to sort of acknowledge that we were present on the bus, on the trips. And on the right-hand side, this is pretty much how we listen to the tours every day, waking us up at 8:15 a.m. to this loudspeaker foghorn, sort of presenting us with information. I think that's my last slide. Yeah, I want to thank the organizers so much. Thank you so much to the group. It was amazing to meet you all. I've learned so much. I haven't had time to process it all, and I hope this presentation gives just a little bit of how much I've learned on this trip. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Atri. You and Dominic really take fabulous photos, and I think we need to create a website and add some of those photos to it. Really fantastic photos from both of you, as well as all the other persons.
You would have to pay us for that, Shanima. We'll talk about it later.
Knowledge, no problem. So at this point in time, we're already 12 minutes over time. I am going to make an apology to all the other speakers who should have been talking today, but I just want, because these last two from Netherlands are going to be leaving us tomorrow and they won't be able to speak again, Firoz and Pawan, Firoz Amar Khan and Pawan Marhe, please go ahead, just make your presentation and inform everyone, more importantly, of what is to come from the two of you for South Africa. Please.
Introduce yourself.
Can you hear us all?
Yes, go ahead, please.
Perfect. Well, hello, world. All the way here from South Africa, together with the rest of the wonderful group. Pawan and I are here. So as a short introduction, we are two cousins from, our parents are from Suriname, former indentured labor. The ancestors are former indentured laborers, and we are born and raised in Suriname, in the Netherlands, which used to be a Dutch colony. So you have a lot of Indians living in the Netherlands. Probably this history has been told before, but it's not a history known to the rest of the Netherlands and to many other Europeans, because it's a part of history that's not being told. So recently we made a large documentary on the history of indentured laborers, which is called False Paradise, stemming from the fact that our ancestors were told to go to a paradise, Suriname, but ended up in a post-slavery colonial system where they just encountered hardships. That documentary, has got some attention. Was published on national television, and so far has over approximately 200,000 views. So it did spark some movement.
1 million online.
1 million online views. So, well, thank you. And I think that's the movement that we should all like in line with everything that the beautiful work that you are doing from this platform. Due to the fact that many others have set up and done so much work, we are able to build forward on that and also include the younger generations in that. And there are many more stories to tell. This is just the beginning. So that's also why we're here for what we're here for in South Africa, apart from the beautiful program that we enjoyed a lot. We also are going to make a next documentary on indentured labor. more specifically here in South Africa and Mauritius, and where we first introduced, gave a broad introduction of indentured labor and focused on the Caribbean specifically. We will now focus on like demonstrating that it was part of a larger global system, indentured the system, and secondly also like how did this system come to an end due to the resistance of people like Mahatma Gandhi and many others, like what we saw today, for instance, at the Phoenix settlement. And then third, we would also want to make, of course, the connection between Suriname, Mauritius, Netherlands, and current day resistance fighters that are inspired by their ancestors and keep on carrying their legacies forward. So in that sense, being here and researching this week and having talks with the many historians has been truly inspiring. The light fell off, so we have a wonderful team here helping us. Yeah, thanks. Oh, working now. Yeah. So this week has been amazing. So we met like all the famous historians here in South Africa, whether it's Ashwin Desai, or we went to the Heritage Center, which is amazing because like such a big museum, most notably about indentured labor, and tributing to the ancestors. That's beautiful. Today at the Phoenix settlement with Ella Gandhi, so many stories are there to be captured. So yeah, from my side, this has been amazing and very helpful, and gave me the idea that and feeling that and the confidence as well that a new beautiful documentary is there to be made.
Yeah,
you're on mute, Shalima.
I want to add just one thing. There's short time, so, we also have like a personal connection with South Africa. That's firstly also because of the Dutch history. We are Dutch. We were born and raised in the Netherlands. We speak Dutch. I said so many times, I praat Afrikaans. But we also have a story about our great-grandmother. Her name was,
Kapidai.
Kalabday Lauten. I'm so tired now. She left India in the 1900s from Basti, and she ended up here in Natal. She used to work. She came with two other persons as a child, and they used to live here for 4 years in this place, KwaZulu Natal. At that time it was Natal, and after that she left. And she ended up in Suriname. So we have a personal connection with South Africa. And that's also the starting point of our new documentary.
Excellent, Pawan. I want to thank you all very much for that, and I want to thank you for highlighting South Africa, and we look forward to your film on South Africa. I just want to draw your attention to the chat. Mr. Pravin Kumar is saying people should read about Totaram Sandhya, who went to India from Fiji and convinced Gandhiji to put a halt to the indentureship system. This history is missing. There's always something to learn. There's always a better way to do things. And coming out of all of the presentations today, I understand that some persons had critiques. And I want to say thank you very much for that. It reminds us that we are not perfect. It reminds us that there's always an opportunity to improve. And as persons coming out of a system of resilience, that's exactly why we meet and have the conversations that we do. And even if it is that those conversations sometimes need to be cut short, I think in life that happens from time to time. So I want to express my gratitude to all of you all who shared today what this tour and the conference has meant to you. those of us who were involved in pulling the thing together in the first instance did so with all good intentions. And we really appreciate your being a part of it. Thank you all so much. Shakir, over to you.
Thank you so much for all organizing all of this. I think everyone enjoyed the trip so much, as you can hear today. Like the way you set it up, everyone you encountered and made part of, everyone here within the South African Durban community, that really contributed to give a good overview of our history and the resilience and the strength of our history. So truly thankful to be part of this journey together with all of you.
Thank you for that. Thank you. Shakir?
Let's unmute her. Make her call.
Thank you, Shaloma. And I want to thank everyone for being here and for taking the time to attend and to participate. So our topic next Sunday will be the closing of the conference on endangered laborers in South Africa. We will be having some more information on the conference that occurred. So again, thank you to all who prepared and were in the background for this tour and this conference. We want to thank again all the members who are here. Please visit, like, and subscribe to our YouTube channel at ICC. And to see all our past recordings, I am Shakira Mohammed of Trinidad and Tobago saying goodbye. May God bless you all. Dhanyabad.